Samuel Doe was born on 6 May 1951 in Tulsa. His family belonged to the Kran people, an indigenous minority group. At the age of 16, Doe finished elementary school and enrolled at the Baptist Junior High School in Sudru. 2 years later, he enlisted in the Armed Forces of Liberia, hoping thereby to obtain a scholarship to a high school in Kakata, but instead he was assigned to military duties. Doe was promoted to the grade of Master Sargent on 11th October 1979. Commanding a group of Crown soldiers, Master Sergeant Samuel Doe led a military coup on 12 April 1980 by attacking the Liberian Executive Mansion and killing the then President William Tolbert. His forces killed another 26 of Tolbert's supporters in the fighting. 13 members of the cabinet were publicly executed 10 days later. Shortly after the coup, government ministers were walked publicly around Monrovia in nude and then executed by a firing squad on the beach. Hundreds of government workers fled the country while others were imprisoned. Doe's coup ended 133 years of Americo-Liberian political domination. Some hailed the coup as the first time since Liberia's establishment as a country that it was governed by a native person. After the coup, Doe established the People's Redemption Council and became the head of state and suspended the constitution, but promised to return to civilian rule. During his first years in office, Doe openly supported U.S. Cold War foreign policy in Africa. During the 1980s, the United States valued Liberia as an important ally during the Cold War, as it helped to contain the spread of Soviet influence in Africa.
Between our governments will be further strengthened in the years ahead. And Mr. Chairman, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am extremely happy to be in the United States of America, long considered the lands of free and the home of the brave. My visit here today is a response to the kind invitation extended to me by President Ronald Reagan, a man of abiding courage, strong will, and foresight. As you know, Liberia and the United States have a long and historic friendship which spans more than 150 years. However, as Liberia's first indigenous leader to visit the United States,
a new constitution was drafted, thereby providing for a multi-party system in Liberia in 1984. On 26 July 1984, Master Sergeant Samuel Doe was elected president of the Interim National Assembly. Doe had a new constitution approved by referendum in 1984 and went on to stage a presidential election on 15 October 1985. Doe publicly declared that if he lost the elections, he would not hand over power and the army would carry out another coup, a position that was harshly criticized by the international community and the political parties participating in the election. Charles Taylor, a former ally of Doe, crossed into Liberia from Ivory Coast on 24 December 1989 to wage a guerrilla warfare against Doe. Taylor had broken out of jail in the United States, where he was awaiting extradition to Liberia on charges of embezzlement. The conflict quickly fled into a full-fledged civil war. By mid-1990, most of Liberia was controlled. He was captured in Monrovia on 9 September 1990 by Prince Y. Johnson, leader of INPFL, a breakaway faction of Taylor's NPFL. Doe was taken to Johnson's military base. To prove that he was not protected by black magic, Johnson ordered Doe's ears to be cut off in his presence. Shackles were placed around Doe's legs. Doe's fingers and toes were also amputated, and there were attempts to mutilate the middle finger. After 12 hours of torture at Johnson's hands, Doe was finally murdered. His corpse had his head shaved and was exhibited naked in the street of Monrovia with cigarette burns. Doe's body was later exhumed and